Spidey-Fan, get ready for an epic Spider-Man video. Hi Spidey fans, it's your friendly neighbourhood, the ultimate Spider-Man fan here, and yes, I'm in this, so I would have worn the Iron Spider, but I've been in this nearly enough all day and I couldn't really bother changing. But yeah, welcome back to another video on me reacting to this video about to do with why Spider-Man's been taken out of the MCU, because the other video I uploaded, if you haven't seen it, go into my channel, or I also put it in the comment section below. Spider-Man's officially out of the, okay, it's not official, but more or less Spider-Man's been pulled out of the MCU by Sony. And then this video is explaining why. So I just thought I'd do a reaction on it. Right, here we go, so, yeah, let's see.
Tell me a little bit about Sony and Marvel coming together to do this and why you guys were able to bridge that. I know you guys have known each other for a long time.
I think that we've been friends for a long time. We've been fellow Spider-Man lovers for a long time. And Kevin came to me with a really fabulous idea. And ideas are everything.
Bringing Spider-Man into the universe, where he belongs, as all the fans know, interacting with the other characters for the very first time, and it seemed like the right time to do it.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Everyone is freaking out because news just broke that Marvel lost the Spider-Man character back to Sony. It's really complicated. It goes all the way to the top between Kevin Feige and Marvel and Tom Rothman at Sony. We're doing the Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home Blu-ray giveaways. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave your best Spider-Man 3 theory on the video now that Marvel just apparently lost Spider-Man. Everybody's theories are going to have to change in a big way. What happened was news just broke that Marvel will not be producing Spider-Man films anymore, meaning that's the sharing arrangement going up in flames. Kevin Feige supposedly isn't going to be involved in the making of Spider-Man 3. This is such a big deal that even Ryan Reynolds is chiming in, people asking, we're never going to get to see Spider-Man and Deadpool in a movie together. And he says, you can see it in my heart. So that lets you know the severity of the situation. But right now there are two more Spider-Man films planned with Tom Holland and the director John Watts. So instead of doing a trilogy, they are planning on doing 4 films with Tom Holland's Spider-Man character. Beyond that, who knows? But one of those sequels is definitely going to be the Venom crossover that they were talking about during Spider-Man Far From Home press junkets. Kevin Feige said, yes, Sony is definitely planning on crossing over Tom Holland's Spider-Man with Venom at some point.
Come on, man, please.
Oh.
The reason why the deal fell through sounds more complicated than it is, but I'm just reading from the article that broke the news here. Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be 50-50 co-financing arrangement between the studios, meaning that Disney would reap some of the box office profits of future Spider-Man films. What had happened in the past is that part of the terms of the sharing arrangement were that Sony would take 100% of the box office take, Marvel would make all of its money on the Spider-Man toys, comic books, and other merchandise. Spider-Man Far From Home just made over $1 billion at the box office. Marvel and Disney don't see a dime from any of that. It all goes to Sony. Apparently when Disney presented the terms of this new arrangement, 50-50 sharing the profits, Sony turned them down flat. And that's Tom Rothman, not Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal used to be the president of Sony, but after the big Sony hack, she got pushed out and just became a producer managing the Spider-Man films. Interestingly enough, she is actually Team Kevin Feige. She was all about bringing Spider-Man into the MCU, so for all the hate she gets online, she was actually a big part of bringing Spider-Man to Marvel.
I thought, oh my god, this would be fantastic. This is the only way to do it, because the truth is that when, we worked with Kevin on the first
couple of years, Spidey
because
fans.
he worked with Avi and he worked at Marvel at that time.
Like,
he worked at Marvel that whole
it
time.
is sad he's on the, it is sad that he's not in the MCU now. After this, but as long as Tom Holland's sticking around. But the one question I have is, will it be the same suit, or is it going to be a different one? Because that is technically the MCU Spidey suits. So that's going to be really
The
interesting.
villain of this story is Tom Rothman at Sony, so a lot of people now are
Basically,
worried,
Tom Holland's
please
sticking
don't
around
let
there.
Via Rod anywhere near these Spider-Man
Heck
sequels.
yes.
Maybe you're a fan of his, maybe
yes.
not, but he's the one that's managing their Venom franchise. Technically, Amy Pascal is only involved with the core Spider-Man films. Then you have all the Venom-verse stuff that's going on. That's all Via Rod. Apparently, Sony came back and countered with an idea that they would give them a little bit of the box office gross. Disney said that wasn't enough, and then both parties went their separate ways. That's not the end of it, though. That's not the end of the story, even though a lot of people were reporting that Marvel completely lost Spider-Man. There are things that could change down the line to allow Spider-Man to continue to be in Marvel films, but it would require a really big late save in the game. For right now, it really does look like Spider-Man is out of the MCU, so it does make a little more sense why Kevin Feige wasn't talking about Spider-Man 3 during their big Marvel Phase 4 panel. Sony wants to produce these movies on a regular schedule, a Venom movie every 2 years, a Spider-Man film with Tom Holland every 2 years, so Spider-Man 3 will probably still drop summer 2021. Then 2 years after that, in 2023, their big Spider-Man 4 Venom crossover or Sinister Six team-up movie or live-action Spider-Verse
So looks like Tom
movie.
Holland's
Amy
sticking
Pascal
around there,
did reveal
hopefully.
that they have plans for
It's just that he's
live-action
going out in the
Spider-Verse at
MC.
some
Well,
point.
I
They
don't know
didn't
if that's
say anything
gonna
about
work,
Miles
though.
Morales. They just said live-action
Oh, that's not something to
Spider-Verse.
do with the
Any chance there's a
multiverse or
multiverse in
something?
which Andrew
But I
Garfield's
don't know how they're
Spider-Man
gonna
and
do
Tobey
that.
Maguire's Spider-Man and the first Spider-Man all meet together?
Well, would you want that?
Would you want? Maybe that's a better question.
Because, like, I actually saw a tweet on Twitter from Tom Holland saying, so I just spoke to Sony, and then there was wee hashtags. In other words, it wasn't good news.
It'd be really, really cool.
I thought basically he meant that he wasn't Spider-Man anymore. What he meant was he wasn't in the MCU anymore as Spider-Man, but he's still, so technically Tom's still Spider-Man.
What's going to happen with Peter Parker in the MCU now, though? He just
To me, that's
disappears
like really
from future
great news,
Avengers
but-
events. Nobody gives him a call. Nobody talks about him. Per the terms of this sharing arrangement, they wouldn't even be able to mention Spider-Man in future Avengers movies. So imagine a scenario in Avengers 5 where they're all talking about the snap and the things that have come before. We're putting a new team together, and they can't talk about what Spider-Man did during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Hey, wasn't there a kid named Peter Parker? Wasn't there a kid a couple of years ago that Iron Man died and gave this billion-dollar orbital weapons platform to? What are we going to do about that? Should someone go grab those glasses from him?
Look, I'm starting to
So
also
our
wonder that, like,
reaction, obviously, I'm really pissed off that things didn't work out between
Far From
Disney
Home,
and
it was
Sony.
announced
Of course,
that
it's
Peter
going to
was
be a
going
bunch
to be
of
the next
business
Iron
people
Man.
to mess the deal up.
Some of them that will still go ahead
fantastic. A
too.
really smart decision, young
But-
man. And it's gone. Poof.
Don't blame Kevin Feige for this. He just delivered two of the highest earning Spider-Man films of all time. Spider-Man Far From Home is getting ready to be the biggest box office earner that Sony has ever had of any kind of movie. Not just Spider-Man films, but it's getting ready to beat Skyfall's record as biggest Sony movie of all time. So Kevin Feige delivered as promised. Give us $1 billion and we'll come back to the table. So biggest predictions about what's going to happen
The
next is
Sinister...
Spider-Man 3 will be closer to a Sinister
That's
Six
Taylor
movie than you
Fan,
would have
they
expected before. Because Kevin Feige isn't involved with the story.
Alex
Sony clearly
Rosart.
wants to leverage its biggest characters, and that is the Sinister Six characters. People like Norman Osborn, and then their
Yeah, they
Venom
nearly-
franchise.
they nearly did
Because
that with
Venom
Tarzan
brought so
too.
much money for
Even
them.
though
It
the
was such
movie
a
was
big
crap.
surprise. Of course, they're going to want to combine
This
those
is bad
franchises
movie.
to try and get the synergy of even more box office profits. And while I am pissed about them losing Spider-Man, at least temporarily, I am still kind of excited about the idea of Spider-Man versus Venom and Spider-Man getting the symbiote eventually. The director of the movie already said that Craven was his lead pick for Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man
Obviously,
3
it's going to be
possible
more of a
villain.
John Wick 3 movie with everybody coming for Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson will be back. It feels like it's a little too soon to do every Sinister Six character, but if they spend enough money to get some of those actors back, they would probably show up in a post-credit scene, and you would see them all for real in Spider-Man 4 in some version of a Venom crossover, either using the multiverse, but I guess now that Sony technically has the character back, they can just say that Venom has been in San Francisco this whole time, and he just shows up in New York City, nearby where Peter Parker is, and then they go at it. You don't have to use the multiverse at all, because that was still when the MCU was technically a separate entity from the Venom franchise and the Venomverse that Sony had. Tom Holland's contract, I believe, is up after Spider-Man 3, so he'll have to re-sign a new contract after that, and if he continues to be Spider-Man, they're not going to stop making Spider-Man films after that Spider-Man-Venom crossover, but they will have to figure out who's going to be the new director, who's going to be writing, and if they want to recast Spider-Man. But I would think that they would stay with Tom Holland as long as they give him enough money to stick around.
I honestly would play Spider-Man until, like, I can't walk anymore. I love this character so much, and it was, like, my childhood dream to play this character. You know, I'm loving it, I'm really enjoying it, I'm really loving what we can do with this movie, and the people that we can kind of touch, and the amazing things we're able to do with the platform that this movie gives us. So I'm just really enjoying it.
That doesn't
So there could be
cancel
a
any of
Venom
the plans
crossover
for
as well
Marvel's
here.
Secret Wars. They can still do that movie.
And that's
they
what
can
Tom
still do
Holland said
Spider-Man
in
Symbiote
that interview
and
which I watched
down
off
the road
camera
6-7 years
said.
because that movie is so far off that there's plenty of time for them to come back to the table and work out a new sharing arrangement for the Spider-Man character. So don't go throwing yourself out a window because this seems like the end of the world. They can still save the day in the last minute, but don't be surprised if Spider-Man 3 does wind up happening without Marvel. If they're able to come back to the table, it might not be till a little bit later than that. Because of this news, everyone post your new Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 4 Venom crossover theories in the comments below. The funny thing about this is that I had recorded an entire Eternals video, literally just stopped the minute that this news broke. So I'll finish that video and post it tomorrow or the next day. The big Marvel D23 Phase 4 panel is this weekend. They'll be dropping footage for the Phase 4 movies. I'll do videos for everything, but leave your requests in the comments below. And if you have big questions about the future of Spider-Man, I'm sure it'll take a couple of Spider-Man videos this week to work through what's going to happen with the future of that franchise and that character in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While you wait for that, everybody click here to learn about why the Russos are talking about Nova in Avengers Endgame, and click here for my Spider-Man Far From Home post-credit scene. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.
Okay, right. Basically, yeah, that actually, like, it's a shame he's not in the MCU, but I was more upset over the fact that I thought that was the end of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But, yeah, if that's actually what that is, I don't really mind it. I don't mind it. I would love to see those two face off. But, I'm happy in a way that Tom Holland's sticking around. Because he did say he wanted to be in forever. And now there's now a more of a possibility. So, yeah, so basically I sort of got the wrong end of the stick from that tweet then. With him saying, so I spoke to Sony, 3 commas. And basically what I thought he meant was he was Spider-Man no more. He is still Spider-Man, but he's not in the MCU. I don't know how they're going to do that. But the good news is he's sticking around for years to come, more like 2 more. And yeah, and hopefully a Venom crossover too. Nice. Well, Spy fans, yeah, that's going to be it for this reaction, obviously, so comment below what you think of this. I don't need to do mental because it'll be in the introduction. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did recording it and hearing all that. And yeah, I'll see all you Spy fans as always in all of my next epic Spy videos. It's your friendly neighbourhood, might as well say this, consider him in the set, Spider Cop, the ultimate Spidey-Fan, over and out.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.